everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things related to the storytelling industry. And as you can tell by the title of today's video, I am taking you along with me as I prep my NaNoWriMo novel. Now, I apologize in advance for the poor lighting. I'm actually recording this before work on Monday morning. So it's not the world's best lighting because it's still dark outside and the big lamp. But y'all, my makeup is on point today, but my hair is still wet. So you get like a half glamorized version of me. It's fine. We're going to go with it. All right. So I have not been doing much prep with you guys, and I was going to do like prepping videos, like how to prep. And I did my plotting video a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? We're not going to be boring like that. Let me just take you with me as I prep my novel. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of the outline with you because obviously I'm not going to let you know my idea before I write it. But I will take you along the process with me. So the very first thing that I'm going to try to figure out today is my word count. Now, I know that the regular word count for NaNoWriMo was like 1,667 words per day or something like that. It's like 1,600 words per day, essentially, you would have to write. But one of the things I'm doing to prepare myself for an actual NaNoWriMo is I know there are going to be a couple of days of November that I don't write. And I will tell you right off the bat that it will be the weekend of Thanksgiving. The reason why is I'm going to my sister's house. I'm driving down Wednesday night. I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday. And then my goal is to come back Saturday because I don't want to get stuck on Sunday traffic on I-65. Y'all, if you have ever driven I-65, particularly between Indianapolis and Chicago, it is a nightmare, especially when you're doing holiday traveling. Wednesday night traffic is going to suck, and I really don't want to get stuck on Sunday. So with that in mind, there are 4 days right now that I know that I am not going to write. We're going to have a house full of family. I don't want to be writing those days. I want to be spending time with my family. So instead of writing 50,000 words in 30 days, I'm going to write 50,000 words in 26 days. So the first thing I'm going to do is just do a basic calculation to figure out how many words per day do I actually need to write to hit 50,000 words, because I know that it's not going to be 1667. So just doing basic math here and rounding it, it's saying about 1,923 words. So 1923, that takes you to 49,998. So I'd have to have one day where I wrote 1925, which is not a big deal. It's pretty, you know, that's not hard to write 2 more words. And essentially skipping those 4 days of November, that would get me to my 50,000 word count. That's a lot. I can be honest with you guys, I don't think I've written a 2,000 word day in a while, but it's not undoable. When my sister and I were in crunch time for our Haunted Dearborn County, Indiana book, we actually had 2,000, 3,000 word days because we were on a deadline and we had a couple stories that we were looking into. Fun fact, we had a couple stories we were looking into that we couldn't find information on, and so we had to pivot and pick a different location, and so we had to kind of like crash write it before it was due. Ended up being one of my favorite chapters in the book, by the way. So I know I can write like that, but that was like a butt in the chair, grinding out words all day thing, and realistically I'm not going to have that most days during NaNoWriMo. So it may be a situation of I just do the best I can and have to do catch up on the weekend kind of thing, but that's okay. We're going to go with it. The second thing I'm going to do is I am going to actually announce my project on NaNoWriMo.org. And I would say, for those of you who want to follow me, my nickname on here is Quiggs, Q-U-I-G-G-S. I don't know if I can share a link to my profile, but if I can, I will do that in the comments section, or the description, I should say, description below. So, I'm going to announce my new project. And what is the name of my project? So I don't have a title for my book yet, but I'm going to tell you guys what my idea is. Are you ready for my idea? Prepare yourselves. Prepare yourselves, because I'm excited. Ready? I'm excited. I'm doing a Taylor Swift inspired novel. Now, I love Taylor Swift. I'm a huge Swiftie, and I blame this on my niece because I was not a Swiftie. And when my niece was little, around the time of Speak Now, the original Speak Now, not the new Speak Now, she became obsessed with Taylor Swift because that was who was popular, and she was in elementary school at the time. But I remember for her birthday and for Christmas and for like all, she kept begging everybody. She wanted the CD that was by the Purple Girl. the purple girl is what she called her. And she was pretty small at the time. I mean, it was before my mom passed away, so she was small. And we obviously, like all good grown-ups did, my sister and I sat and listened to the album prior to, you know, letting her have it for the holiday. And we were like, this is actually really good. And so we became Taylor Swift fans. So I've been following along her career ever since. Really excited about the Newspeak now that's coming out, very full circle. And I thought, I kind of want to do a Taylor Swift inspired novel. Now, not about Taylor Swift, because that's weird. She's a real person and I don't write fan fiction. So like, you know, but I thought I would do a project. I'm calling it a Taylor Swift inspired novel, and I'm going to be using her music as the playlist to write and outline the novel. So, putting down my microphone, it's probably making noise. Let's go ahead and announce. So what is the name of my thing? I'm going to say Taylor Swift inspired novel. I'm putting TBD, Taylor Swift inspired novel. Project status is that I'm prepping. It's a novel and it's NaNoWriMo 2023. Here we go. On to the details. Here we go. What is the genre? It's gonna obviously be a romance because, I mean, I write romance. And I'm going to say, add a project summary. I think I'm going to do I've never done a small town romance, but I feel like early Taylor Swift lends itself very well to a small town romance. So I'm going to say small town romance, inspired by a soundtrack of Taylor Swift music. And that's what I'm going to be doing. Now, it does have a spot here where you can actually put your project's playlist. And I'm going to do that, but I have to create my playlist first. So I think probably now that I've got this announced, my next stop is going to be figuring out the playlist. So I'm not going to sit here and go through every single, song with you guys, but I'm just going to kind of talk you through what I'm thinking, right? So the thing that's really fun about Taylor Swift is that if you go back to her very first album all the way to the latest releases, right? It almost tells a love story, like a full circle love story, which I think is interesting. And obviously, if you want to get all up in her personal life, which I don't care about her personal life, she can do whatever she wants to. She's a grown woman. But if you look at it from, we know that these songs are about different people she's dated throughout the years, right? But I think you can look at it a different way, and you can make it a second chance, small town romance. If you think about it, for example, early Taylor Swift music could be that young middle school / high school crush on somebody that turns into a young teenage love, right? So, I mean, think about things like Teardrops on My Guitar and You Belong With Me. She's got a mad crush on this guy in high school who just doesn't know she exists. Childhood friend, they hit puberty, their friendship is strained because she thinks he's hot and he doesn't know she exists. There are so many songs really in the first two albums that lend themselves to this, right? I mean, she has so many. I mean, it'd be hard even like trying to pick because there's so many. I mean, and then you can even talk about like the young romance, right? So Our Song, that's a young romance talking about, Your Mama Doesn't Know and all this kind of stuff. I mean, the first two albums really just lend themselves to that high school first love that just kind of ends badly. Not because anybody necessarily did anything wrong, but because you're young and you just don't know what you want, right? So I'm thinking about using Taylor Swift, the original album, and Fearless as kind of my framework for starting off the romance. The crush that turns into young love that then ends badly in some sort of way, but I don't want it to be like a catastrophic, he was an abuser, terrible person thing. I want it to be more of it was a misunderstanding of some sort. So that's what I'm thinking for like the first part of the story. And then I think, again, it chronologically makes sense to then go into Speak Now Red, which is trying to date other people to get in your 20s, right? In your early 20s or your late teens, early 20s, trying to date other people to figure out like what you want in a relationship. And the relationships keep burning out badly because they're not the person you're supposed to be with. So then you move on to 1989 and you move on to Reputation. Well, 1989, I think, lends itself well to figuring out who you are as a person, right? So watching character growth from these two main characters and watching them turn into actual adults, right? To then hitting Reputation, where their romance is rekindled, maybe more in a like, we met up again, had a little one-nighter, and my feelings were rekindled, to then falling into Lover and Midnights, and of course a little bit of Folklore and Evermore, because some of these songs also are great for like coming full circle with romances. I'm thinking of like Invisible String, Long Story Short, like those kind of songs, to falling in love again as adults and having that be a real romance where you guys realize that like we love each other, we are meant to be together, and we are both mature enough as people to make it work. So that's my plan. Now, I have no details. I don't know who my characters are. I don't know where they live. I know it's a small town somewhere. I don't know what the issue is. I have no other details than a very, very rough outline. Literally just based on Taylor Swift albums. And I think a lot of people don't look at it that way, but that's one of the things I love so much about her music is like you watch her grow up. You do. You watch her grow up. Even the romance songs from like her first 4 albums are so like teenage, early 20s, right? Because like that's where you are in life, to then listen to love songs that she's written in recent albums, even if it's a breakup song, and the perspective is so much more like what you would expect from a 30-year-old woman. And so that's what I want to portray in this novel, is like a young love that then matures into a real relationship later on. So anyways, I will eventually create a playlist. My thought process right now is to have a song per chapter, but I don't know. It could be different when I actually get into there. So that is the plan. I think I'm also going to create a Pinterest board. So maybe I'll take you guys with me next week as I create a Pinterest board. I think for right now, I'm not going to keep you on here for this, but I'm going to start sitting down and actually breaking out my outline. I'm doing the same plot outline like I did in my very first, my plotting video from a couple weeks ago. But I think for me, it's going to be important to start with a playlist, because the playlist is going to inspire the story. Then sit down and do the outline. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to do the Pinterest board. So I will share links to all of that, the Pinterest board, the playlist, and again, a link to my NaNoWriMo profile. But that is a very, 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 very rough draft of what I think I'm going to do for my NaNoWriMo novel. Like a rough plot, I should say. So yeah. Are you doing NaNoWriMo this year? And what does your novel look like? I'm looking over at my screen if you're wondering why I was looking over there the whole video. All right, let me know how you're doing in the comments below. Let me know if you are also doing NaNoWriMo. Share a link to your profile. I would love to follow you so we can be friends, so we can be BFFs. And of course, I've been quiet with writing sprints this month because it's been crazy. But once we hit NaNoWriMo, hold on to your pants, because I will probably be doing a lot of nano vlogs and a lot of writing sprints. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.